Well, hello everyone. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for showing up. It's always great to see you guys. I'm really kind of interested to see where the conversation will go. It's the first call of September 2025. Man, we're just moving and grooving, burning through the year, burning it at both ends. Great. And it's Thursday, almost time for the weekend. But not quite. Still got some shower door business to talk about. So let's talk about it. What are you guys doing? What's going on? Do you need me to give you a topic, or does somebody else have something they're wanting to talk about?
I've got something I can bring up.
Oh,
I've
great,
got uh,
perfect.
I've got several. All of us. It's all the Californians, by the way. I've got a bunch of jobs with a bunch of people who moved from California, just all hit at the same time,
You
where
look a
they're
little
doing.
like a caveman right now, actually.
Yeah, yes.
Hey, hey, and don't worry about charging them, man. They're used to the high prices, man.
Well,
Start the
so yeah,
Affirmative.
they're all building some exquisite showers. But my point is, they have they all want these slip fit showers, right? So
Okay.
they're being the glass is being installed into the no fab clips, right? There's no clips. It's being installed into the recess of the floor and the ceiling, into
Right,
channel, right?
right.
So it looks like it's completely um, frameless.
Yeah.
So does anyone have experience with that? I mean, I've got a couple coming up, and before I install, I figured I'd get some feedback if anyone's done any of that.
Good idea.
I always install the panel first and then measure for the door and go back. I never do both at the same time because there's too many variants there between the ceiling and the floor. I always went back and did the door. And now if you're hinging the door off the glass, then you just put your hinges and then still measure and go back with your door. I've always done it like that just to be safe.
What about water permeation? So it'll just get siliconed around the edges, and that's it.
Put in U channel.
Mhm.
Yeah, it goes in U channel, but it's still
Yeah.
recessed into the ground, right? So water's gonna fly up onto it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna have to do a perimeter caulk on the inside so it doesn't
Yeah.
go through it.
Yeah, but it's going to get by
Yeah.
the grout, the U channel, and rot everything out.
What about deductions? I figured I'd give an eighth deduction on each side, so it'd be a total of a quarter. Or does anyone go tight to the complete opening of the channel? No. What's no, Ryan?
I do an
Oh,
eighth and pump it right through.
You do
Anywhere
an
I can.
eighth on each side?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And use a laser to match up the top and bottom channels. So everything's yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no okay. All right. No magic here then. It's pretty straightforward.
well, you kind of have to measure it like you're doing flush glaze, right? Like a storefront. You're gonna make the glass a little bit bigger than the opening, and then dive it into the top, set it in the bottom. So maybe use deeper channel at the top.
Yeah. So what I've been reading, like 1 inch
Lift
channel
and
at the top,
drop,
and
they
then
call it.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Listen, bro.
yeah.
lifting clout.
But here's the thing about that. Whenever somebody asked me to do that, I would tell them, here's the deal. I'm not responsible for water penetration. It's like
Yeah.
the tile guy has to make it. It's like I'll provide the channel, even come and install the channel.
Yeah.
But the tile guy has to waterproof it.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna set the glass. It's not my problem, you know. If water gets out of the opening, onto the floor outside, we can talk about that. That can be my issue.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna talk my way out of that anyway. But if water gets in, and starts stripping from the second floor onto the first floor or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And that's the thing, right? About that. I mean, it looks bitching, but waterproofing is the issue.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a good one. That's it. Nobody else got anything else on that?
I had a designer once that wanted to set into the curb, and I wouldn't do it. And then the homeowner came along, says, I don't want to set it into the curb. My daughter had it done. It all rotted out.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I've done a few of them, it's been okay. And there's been problems too. And some of them, and it was like that same thing of like hire me to come back out, take the glass out so that the tile guy can fix his
Yeah,
problem. But the great thing was we had had that kind of communication at the time
beforehand.
of the job that they knew what I just told you, right? So when they called me, it wasn't like, hey, not even a hint towards this is your problem. It's
Hmm.
totally like, hey, this is my problem, and what's it going to cost us to
Right.
hire you? And that one, actually, I've only had that one time, and it was a really good customer of mine, repeat customer that we done a lot of work for. So, we took it kind of easy on him. Felt kind of bad for him, but
Well, that but it should have been simple for you because you don't use silicone.
yeah, exactly.
That's where the leaks happening, huh?
Yeah. Stuff structural, man. We used to do like high rises, like curtain walls
Oh
that,
yeah.
and it was just silicone holding the glass in.
Oh yeah.
That glass is still there to this day, man.
Yeah.
But most of that stuff is done in the factory, and
Oh, and nowadays, yeah, like
yeah,
nowadays it's all done by iron workers.
yeah. I mean, they unitize it, and
Yep.
it comes all what 2 floors tall, and
Yeah.
lifted in place with the
Yeah, I
crank.
worked with Walters and Wolf for a while
Yeah.
back in the like, gosh, it's been a long time ago, the early 2000s when I was still like working with my tools and stuff. And that's what they did. I mean, they kind of pioneered a lot of that, man. They became huge
Oh yeah.
doing that kind of stuff. But they're like, yeah, it was mostly like they were mostly iron workers. A few glazers, for like if they needed somebody who really actually knew how to do something. You could have the glazer come and fix the stuff. The iron workers screwed up, but it's mainly what I did.
What about floating mirrors? There are a lot
Mm.
of people who are doing that right now. I see it everywhere in the city right now.
Loading.
Do it all the time.
So how do you float it? Do you put plywood on the back?
I use MDF, quarter-inch MDF, and I just make my own French
You
cleat.
can come in. Yeah, yeah.
French whip
And what do
sort
you
of
what do
thing.
you use to glue what do you use to glue it?
We use like spec 2, like Trentco spec 2, because it's neutral cure. It doesn't wreck the backing on the mirror. But you can use like a mastic or anything as well. Just the mastic tends to be a little thicker and wants to have a little more play. So we like silicone because it tends to cure a little more.
Well, everything that I was reading is that the mastic is not really going to hold that plywood down. If there's any weight, right? Because the floating mirror is not being it's not being held. There's no mechanical structure to it except directly on the back. So um, in that case, is it just I don't feel like mass and everything I read is that mastic is not going to hold the MDF to the mirror if it's especially if it's a heavy mirror.
Yeah, we typically don't use mastic. We would use silicone.
What
But
kind
like I
of
said,
silicone?
spec 2.
Yeah,
Spec two.
RTV silicone is the same, will work too. You can
Yeah,
use RTV
Yeah.
on mirror and it won't
yeah,
eat
Neutral cure.
yeah,
neutral
neutral
cure.
cure.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
that. I did that yesterday.
Just don't use liquid nails.
No,
Yeah.
use liquid nails. And there's some mastic like Gunther,
Gunther
that
makes one that works. Yeah.
Ultra Bond, I think they call it
Yeah,
the gold
Gunther,
tube. That stuff
Farm.
will hold. It'll hold it.
Yeah.
But Ryan's using a mechanical fastener of a sort. I mean, if he's using like a French clip or something, but still it's glued on, right? So technically,
Well, and is the French clip that's the MDF?
Yeah, yeah, we just make
Yeah.
our own. Yeah,
You're just cutting it at a 45 or whatever, and then one goes on the back wall, and then the other goes on the mirror.
yeah, as long as you prime it, it's fine.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we did that yesterday. I
Did
did
what?
that exactly. I floated the mirror. I just put mastic, and then I put little globs of silicone everywhere too. I doubled it up.
And oh, it's on a. So how long do you let the MDF sit on the mirror for to cure before you put any weight on it?
I tell the customers not to remove the piece of wood I have it holding up for 2 weeks.
So you put wood under that mirror at
Yeah.
that height. You just stack the wood, hold it up, and you tell
Yep.
them not to move it for 2 weeks.
Yep. And they move it, and I haven't had any problems with that yet. So if I did, I would hear about it, I guess.
All right. Well, I've got a crazy one then. I've got a one same freaking designer who's doing the slip fit or lift and drop. They want to put an 82-inch diameter mirror floating in the gym. 82-inch.
I wouldn't.
Is there any way to even do it?
So
I would,
you can use, you can use that L bar. So instead of there's a J channel.
Well, it's a circle though. It's a circle.
Different.
It's an 82.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
diameter. Yeah. I mean yeah, that you're not going to be able to use that. Well, so
No.
they hate the idea of clips,
What do you mean clips?
like mirror clip, like they've got those nice little round nickel size clip that for mirrors. They look pretty nice.
Yeah. So I guess that could.
I'd run it by them.
Well, yeah. Okay.
And because here's the other thing, you could always do that and then come back and remove them after a month or whatever. Just put a ton of glue on there and use those little clips because when you pull them out, you can pull them out with the mirror in place.
So when you say clip, I'm thinking about the ones that you drill in. It's the channel, right? That you drill into the back into the wood.
No, these are like I'll find a thing and post it in the comments, but there's how like they've got those little plastic mirror clips that you put like hang a
Yeah.
mirror with.
Yeah.
Well, they've
Yeah.
got nicer ones that are made of metal and they're round. And so you can actually drill and install it. And then once you
Oh,
set the mirror in, they've got a little cover plate that
the, ro-
screws on.
the
It's
rosette.
nice. It's just really finished little, like they come in all different finishes. Or
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the rosettes? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
it's not really a
No.
rosette. Technically, is through a hole that's drilled in
Yeah.
the mirror. That's technically not a rosette.
That's old school. Yeah, we used to do those a lot for people. I have a gentleman that's 70 years old still worked for me, man. He goes, man, he used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
Chris, if you find those online, if you can put them in the chat, I'd like to see what you're talking
I've got them
about.
right here.
And you feel like that would support an 82-inch mirror?
Yeah, yep, definitely.
Okay.
There it is. I'll show you. Yeah, and for round mirrors or like oval shaped mirrors, they're really the thing. And they come in brushed nickel, polished brass, chrome, matte black.
Oh, these are cool.
Yeah, they're cool and they're like really easy to work with. And you can actually, you can actually install them in place. So with the mirror in place. So what I would usually do is like set the bottom to, because it's hard to lay it out on a
Yeah.
circle, especially. So
Yeah.
I'd set the bottom to, set the mirror in there, have one guy hold it in place, and use glue too, right? Usually. Have the second guy hold it in place, and then you can lay out the other two, and you can actually set it on the mirror, mark the hole, drill it, run the screw, and then screw on the little cover plate, the little cap. So you can also remove them later if you
Yeah.
want. You just have those 4 little holes to like spackle or whatever. So that's an option. So
Okay.
like, you know, I mean, you can always like, and you could always do the same thing with just wood blocks or whatever. You could screw wood blocks to the wall, set it, you know, put a ton of glue on it, some really good mastic, and then just have to come back sometime in the future to pull those off and patch the holes. But they can get that effect that they want.
Okay.
And any
Interesting.
handyman can, spackle a hole.
Yeah, yeah. Not me. I suck at drywall.
No, I don't. I wouldn't even try it.
Yeah,
I think I'm allergic to that stuff.
conveniently.
Yeah, makes me break out.
Okay.
Good questions, man. Good questions. So, so here's something I'm kind of curious about. Any of you guys have uh, a procedure for employees to make suggestions or come up with ideas?
It's called a shredder.
That's smart.
My goodness.
Just drop it right in here.
Yeah, we got it plugged in right in the corner.
Yep. Oh, you got it.
We call it a complaint box too.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's interesting. People think that they're being helpful a lot of times when they offer like ideas or suggestions, whatever. But a suggestion is just a veiled criticism, really. you know. And it's funny, it's like usually the people who are the newest and know the least about something that want to like offer suggestions.
I always like to listen to not those guys, but the experienced guys when I would ride with them, the frustrations they would say, because I was coming at it from a completely different mindset. So when they say, man, I wish this would happen. I wish this. It happens so frequently that when they would say that, we'd go, my mind would like, we can fix that. That shouldn't be an issue. Why is that an issue? We're at a stage of technology or like where we're at that's erased. We have enough problems that we shouldn't add the ones we can control to the list. And a lot of times their frustrations were just them complaining, of course, but the times when they say, man, I wish I had, when Chris is sweating, trying to look at the cut sheet and going through and figuring out which one's the rewrite, which one's not, with the original editor, like things he needs to do the job. And he's like, I wish this would be cleaner and I would know if someone edited this or that, or like, instead of dismissing, I would hear it and be like, we can do that. We'll just change how people do it or make a tag or make an automation, something that will fix that problem. And I started telling them, bring to me if you ever think throughout the day, man, I wish this, just bring it to the table. We'll hear it. Most times we won't be able to do anything about it, but you might bring to the table something that we can actually fix instantly or update our process because you're right. You should have this info on it. You're right. We should have checked it before. Let's add that to our process. Or it's already in our process. How do we go back to make sure it was done and keep people accountable? If we already made the plan and people are following it, that's different than if there is no plan and people are winging it. And their frustrations are usually the key point, just like your customers. Your customers complain about something, you usually fix the process. You take too long for an estimate, you learn how to get it faster. Your quote was not enough, you either learn how to teach them the value of why they should choose you or try to price match, which is never that great of an idea. But usually our customers' frustrations we try to fix so we can get more happy ones. Our employees sometimes bring actually good stuff to the table, but I used to love that. We made some magical automations and fixes and updates to our system from those little complaints, the 1 out of 100 that were actually good.
Right. Yeah, and that issue that you described when you were talking about like redesigns or rewrites or something, I mean that can really bite you. I mean, I've had that come back and get me, where you drew it up one way and then they're like, oh no, can we make this change? And then you make the change and then somehow the old drawing gets ordered. You know, like it could be a design change, it could be an upgrade like Starfire, and you show up with regular clear glass, and you know, that sucks. Especially if it's a big shower, man. You've bought all that glass, and it's like you got to try to wheel and deal and get them to accept it, give them a discount, you know,
And it's
maybe or whatever.
embarrassing. Yeah, your guys feel embarrassed. You feel embarrassed. Like you could
Yeah.
have caught it before, and the fact that a lack of a process did it. That's usually like control the controllables. There's too much crap we have going on that we can't control. If they increase our pricing here or do this there and some thing in our state or city, but you can control all these other things. And that's where like the messages, everyone goes to Facebook to ask for certain showers. So we just made a lot of collections and just put them in our system. Like here's 200 templates, 50 showers, 20 wines of every single style that we usually spend time trying to search on Google, or this hardware, this color, or our 5 colors, or our 3 ranges, or this pattern versus this pattern, and just adding all those to the library and just teaching the staff how to search in our library for our logos on these beautiful pictures was a lot better than them spending the time. And it's faster response to the customer, but so it came from complaints of me having to search for stuff and ask Troy, where's the colors, or do you know the difference in that? And as I got their answers, adding them to the library, the warranty questions, the FAQs, the weird ones I didn't know, and as they're in the template library, you search it and there's your answer, and click send, and that just speeds up. That comes from complaint, so that's another great one too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And really the the key to all that is just labeling properly, right? Like coming up with the right tags for everything. And if you just took every photo that you ever took of a finished shower, your own photo, and then you can actually edit the photo and put tags in it, right? And put every tag, the finish, the type of glass, uh, the style, whether it's hinged or whether it's pivots, or sliding, or just every tag that you can think of, and attach it to that photo. And then like Rob's saying, just how to search. You could find every shower in your library that is a right angle, and then start whittling it down. I want right angles that are Starfire and have, bronze metal and, you know, or a slider or whatever, you can just totally like pare it down to where you got a handful of great photos that are exactly what your customer is looking for. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
taking that time up front to do that. Because once you've got 1,000 photos, it's a big task to go through. I'm sure probably AI can do it for you or something. Probably go through and add all those tags. Probably a way to do that. But to do it manually, be a lot of work.
Yeah, and that goes for everything. Naming, there's a lot of tools now that I've used that make all this process faster, but being the builder of a lot of these things and the person that has to manage a lot of these systems, I learned way too late that nomenclature matters so much. The way you name stuff as you add it to your library, as you take the picture that first time, just like your contact that comes into your database. Doesn't that matter? Whatever, just get the job done. We sold it. Who cares? And then when you want to ask a question like, how many leads do we get from that Facebook ad? Or how many leads did so and so send me? Or what are my numbers for this month? And you have no clue. What did my builders bring me? What did my builders, how many showers? Like all the variables you could want if you actually tag that person when they went into your database, whatever CRM system you use, with all these qualifiers, even have them self-tagged by the way they talk and having the system label it by catching all these who they are, their customer type, their project type, their builder type, their flow, and then being able to have those numbers available to you and know to a T that every single data point in your business, like that begins at the very front end. Because most of us look at our lead stack when it's, our customer base, our contact base, our pictures, everything we build usually starts with whatever names, whatever. And then as you try to go back and organize and build something, you have to undo all that or start fresh. and it's chaos. So yeah, so anyone that hasn't started those libraries, as you start building, naming everything properly matters so much. The more tags, the better, because it leads to better content, better spitting out, better search libraries, a Google Drive where you can type in all those elements that Chris said, and it shows you all those pictures right there. And now you can tell the AI to make a slideshow for you, and it's already preset. Like shoot it to your content. It layers onto all these other things, but it starts at the very beginning with just having an organized, clean process and caring about sourcing everything correctly. And as it moves through your pipeline, then you could start adding automations that know exactly how to handle each and every one of those people as they move through based on all these qualifiers that, and instead of your job being to do all those steps from a customer's journey from beginning to end, your job is to label the customer correctly and fill in all these blanks so the system can take over all of these actions that you would normally have to do. Because you usually think it's impossible to have the system do that. There's too many variables. Well, when you give it all the data at the beginning and create those branches, there's only so many variables it can go through. And when you control that, your process, it's so much cleaner for everyone. But it's a great way to think and build and do things. Listen to the problems and then name the solution, right? Whatever that solution is. So people can find it later in some kind of training library or resource that you want to build 2 years later when the idea comes.
Right. So true, man. Hey, here's a photo that Daniel posted in the chat. You see that?
That was about like a 96-inch wide, I think, mirror. It was like 96, 91, something like
Really?
that. I heard you guys talking about the floating mirrors earlier. That was when we did. The builder built them a platform basically for it to be floated off, and then they supported the bottom, and we used some. I think we used L mold to support it up and down on the bottom, and then they just put some like cleats on the bottom to keep the plywood from bowing back.
So here there's L channel on here though.
Yeah, there's L mold. There's L mold on the
Yeah.
bottom of it, but I mean,
I can't do
Yeah.
that with a circle. That's the
Right,
problem.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we've done a upside down circle that we used L mold for, and we just cut the L mold like you would cut like how they when they're forming the driveways and they cut the boards
Oh.
and they bend it. We did that with the L mold and just
Oh,
bent the L mold
yeah.
and put it up there. I have that picture is probably somewhere back in my history. Speaking of unorganized pictures, it's somewhere way back unorganized. But yeah, it was like a
You could do
I
that,
think
like cut a bunch of slots in the legs
yeah
so that it
The
yeah,
same.
and we just
forms.
bent it around there and then we traced the we dummied it up there with the mirror and then figured out where it needed to go and then secured it up, secured it up there and then set the mirror. That was, yeah, from the ceiling. It was like flat against the ceiling and then just like a big circle down below it and just sitting up behind the vanity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's if they let you use L mold.
Yeah, I need to verify that. I don't know. I just saw the plans and that's what they said they want. So
Mm-hmm.
I said when we get to that point, we need to talk about how to structure it. So I've got some time to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. But that one wasn't floating. It was just L mold supporting a mirror. But the one that I showed you guys just now it was on a platform, had the LED lights around it and stuff. So, but we didn't do any of the lighting or anything like that. We just supplied the mirror and the L mold and
Yeah, right.
kind of
And then you
coached them.
installed the mirror.
Yeah, and coached them along the process of make like because they had the plywood that they used. They had an overhang. I think they had an overhang on the bottom the same amount that we were having the mirror overhang the plywood. Like we had the mirror overhang the perimeter 3 inches all the way around. And then on the bottom, they just kind of let the plywood drop down 3 inches. But then within that, to keep it from kicking back, they put some blocking behind there to keep it from doing that. Worked out. Customer was happy.
Did you put cleats on the back of the mirror or no?
No. They just like between the drywall and the plywood that they supplied, they put some blocking behind there to keep it from the weight of the mirror from kicking the mirror back and down.
All right.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by GlassGadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out GlassGadget.com for more information. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Looks small, but it was a big mirror.
It doesn't look nearly as big as you're saying it is, but
No, I think it was like 91 by, I think it was like 91 by 91. It was basically, I think the block size we cut it out was 96 by 96.
The fish was this big, I tell you.
Yeah. Fishing story.
exactly. Yeah, I mean was it in a garage?
No, it was in a basement gym.
That's a pretty big piece of glass to get like through some doors and stuff.
I
That
mean,
extra big doors,
it's a big ass
oversized
house.
doors,
Everything in the house is big. The basement doors
including the
were
mirrors,
the
huh?
8 foot doors or something like that. Whatever the ones with 4 hinges, those ones.
Yeah, nice.
And then
Yeah,
double
those are
doors
nice
going.
when you're
Yeah,
bringing glass in.
that's amazing. Yeah, they had double doors throughout there, and then going into the space. So yeah. The
Nice place.
doorways made the mirror look small.
Okay. Yeah, that's why the mirror looks smaller.
Everything around is big. Yeah.
Totally. How about you, Daniel? What about ideas to employees come to you with like ideas of, hey, let's try doing something different
Got a
way.
box outside the door, so when they come in, they leave all their personal problems in it.
Yeah, personal
No, not
problems
really.
box.
But
That's
sometimes
a
I've
good
thought
one.
about it. I've thought about it.
Personal
Hey,
problems
here's a
box.
box. All your personal shit goes here. If you can't put it in there, don't come in.
Right. If it doesn't fit in the box, just take the day off.
Yeah. No, I mean just conversations and listening and being present and in tune with what's going on in your business. I mean, we're small enough to where we can just have conversations and remember shit, you know?
Yeah. Right. Well, I think that's pretty much organically how things happen, but I'm just curious
Yeah.
how open people are. It's a pretty small group tonight too, but just how open people are to doing things differently. Or if it's like, oh, we've done it this way for 30 years. I mean, I know Tim probably wouldn't say it like that, but oh, we've done it
Mhm.
this way for 40 years. We've done it this way for 50 years. We're not going to change now, whatever. But
We're open to stuff. I've gotten my dad to open up. He's an older gentleman, to say the
yeah,
least. I've gotten him to open up and accept new things. Like, I've gotten him to entertain handrail stuff, So it's like before he would never entertain doing a handrail job, and just yeah. We've gotten the mindset to be open, so and accepting input and stuff like that. And honestly, dude, if you have a better way, show me. If it's better, awesome. Like we had a guy actually, here's something that we've done recently that we had a guy come in and everybody's got their own ways of doing silicone, So this guy learned doing like a wet glaze type silicone, and so I went to a job site and watched him do it, and was like, I was terrified at first, like I was just terrified watching him do it, but then in the end it was fine. It was clean and stuff. And I had some questions for him, but then I also went and looked at one he had done recently, like the day before, a couple of days before, and I looked at it like cleaned and finished and stuff like that and cured, and it looked amazing. So I was like, okay, like I don't mind you doing that then, I guess, like you
yeah,
might actually need to be teaching the rest of the guys how to do this way, So like yeah, being open-minded is key because you're gonna find a better way and maybe a nicer way.
no doubt. Yep. What got you here won't get you there, right? Yeah.
I notice it's usually the Daniels that I work with that can push the needle. That's even how I even got introduced in the Austin location was the nephew coming back in, the uncle just, I'm gonna retire. Like, the way it's been, man. had a great life for 20 years of a great business as a second generation. If you want to come and take the third generation over, be my guest. And so he had free reign to kind of do all these things without the friction of like, I want it this way, because he's going to lunch or going to dinner. So it was very easy to implement without having to worry about that. And I noticed that the places that do have people there that want to see changes, want people to take over, if they're still actually very present and checked in, it's way harder to get these changes made in anything. And I know like 2 years ago, a member of this group, or a year and a half, pivoted to, instead of dealing with that, just was able to create a separate branch, name it its own thing, and have it run. Same place, same business, just create his own way to show, like, I think this product, showers, can work on its own. Want to create a standalone, rename it whatever, DBA, and just had its own system flowing for its own CRM and processes, and proved that it worked and kept it as a standalone, but was able to leverage the actual existing glass business and not break it, not mess anything up, maybe improve some things by saying, see, look how easy this is over here in this little silo bucket I made. That doesn't affect everything else, but we're allowed to at least test and break stuff. And I think a lot of great companies have these pockets of small buckets of people that are told, go crazy, just your free reign. I think Apple had it, Google, Amazon, like those are monsters that done it, but a lot of other companies have seen a lot of greatness from it, allocating like just like a little bit to marketing, a little bit to like just see what you can do. Prove it doesn't work. Prove to me it works, because I think it does it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies start up like a special projects division. So it's just like, you know, yeah, division in the company that does things differently, like just like Rob's describing, and maybe takes on projects that are out of the ordinary and then get to implement all those things and do those experimental things. Because there's always jobs like that come in, I'm like Saul's asking about, how to do this big mirror, people want you to do things or this big like whatever, no hardware, no exposed hardware shower and stuff like that. And you don't want your whole business to go into experimental mode because that can wreck that can wreck your deal. Um, but you want to be open to innovation too. I mean, maybe not. I mean, maybe not. He might not want to. He might have it. It might be just good enough, and you're just going to run it that way. But I think most growing, concerns are going to want to have, some research and development, some experimental sort of a thing, kind of push the boundaries on stuff. And that's a great way to do it. Just like Rob described. I mean, I've never heard of someone starting like a separate entity to do it, but so you sure can. Why not, man? Like a DBA or even a completely separate, LLC or whatever. Same
Yeah,
same
when you don't have
guys,
permission to do what you
right?
got to do.
Same guys, same resources, right? So you can order from the same, and have everything and customer base, all of that, share all of that, would just be completely separate. And who knows, maybe it'll spin off and be a bigger deal than the original.
That's kind of like, I mean, I don't know exactly, and I don't want to speak out of line, but that's kind of like what with the my shower doors and the architectural glass, it's,
Yeah,
I'm
there you
pretty
go.
sure they're two separate things, and like I don't know how that came about, and then also the wholesale thing for the production. I know there's some people around in our area that they have their production facility that's wholesale, but it's all under the same name, kind of like Shannon. She's not doing wholesale, it's supplying her just for her business, but it's all in-house under the same name. But like they could have possibly, if you were going to get into the wholesale or production of the glass, you could have separated that out as a completely separate business just to test it out and keep it separate, possibly, and or if you're getting into commercial versus residential, you can separate that out too if you're just getting into a different space, I mean, like it's a good option and possibility for us to get into handrails, like doing the handrails, stuff like that, separate that out on our end if we wanted to. So, you can kind of separate the liability essentially, I would possibly. So,
We have Landa and Sons glass, and then we have shower doors by Landa and Sons. So it's same company, but I use one name for the shower doors and one for everything else we do.
yeah, probably helps separate liability, I would imagine, on the jobs that can be
Not
more
really.
dangerous, I guess, in the long road.
No,
I don't know.
no.
Like that's what handrails always scare us in the long run, like making sure that nothing ever happens down the road.
Yeah, well, it's great for branding too, right? Because
Hmm.
if you want to do shower doors and you don't have shower doors in the name, um, you're probably missing a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah.
So that it's smart to like Adrian's saying, just have a division, have another DBA. I don't know how you got it um configured or whatever, but that's a smart way to go.
Yep.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I found when I went into the glass business, that people would ask me, so what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm in the glass business. And they're like, they had no idea what that meant. They're like, oh, do you make drinking glasses? Do you like blow glass? Do you make eyeglasses? Are I was like, they just had no idea whatsoever. And it was almost too vague for the average person to understand what you're doing. So what I found was I was always having to explain, re-explain, reiterate, what it was I did. People just didn't get it. But when I changed my company to shower doors, it was immediately like, what do you do? Oh, I'm in shower doors. Oh, okay. So do you like design shower doors? Do you like install shower doors? Do you like sell shower doors? Yes, I do all of that. It's so much simpler, man.
We were going to open a showroom separately from our business here, and then situation happened with my dad, so that got put on a hold. And the building I chose was right next to a tile company. Perfect
Oh,
spot.
yep.
The idea went bad. That didn't happen. It might
Not
still
yet.
happen. Might happen still.
Yeah,
And then we're gonna name the store differently. It was gonna be like Yuba City Shower Doors, where I'm from, and right next door to it was a tile company, man. So you go pick out your tile, go next door, pick out your shower door.
that's right.
You know?
That's right. So then, like, if you have a problem with the customer, like, fine, I'll just go with Yuba City shower doors. That'll
Yeah.
teach you.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh man, shucks.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, man.
Lost another one to those guys.
Exactly. I mean, we get dibs. Dibs. You guys remember dibs, right?
Dibs. Got dibs on it.
Kind of called dibs on her. Yeah, I did.
Dibs.
So I got my wife. Dibs.
That's right. Ooh. Hmm. What else?
I'm curious what you guys are using for cataloging your pictures here. When you're talking about giving them all keywords and stuff. Like the one thing I struggle with is we got guys in the field, and I always push them to take pictures. And truth be told, they're reluctant or they forget or whatever, whether it's progress pictures or finished pictures. I'm trying to find one central place for them to get uploaded to so that we would have one place to catalog them, one place to share them for web developer for the website uploading, one place for social media so the social media guy can get them, or one place we can use them to catalog for like showroom sales. So when you guys were talking about, giving each picture, multiple keywords to, be able to catalog and library these things, what are you using and how are you doing it and how are you collecting pictures from different technicians or different sources and where are you pooling them together? Because it sounds like someone's got their shit together here that I don't.
I was
Depends on the process. What are you gonna say?
I said I recently started using Google Drive, and that's where they've been sending them to. So they have my Google
Yes.
Drive. So they just send them there. I'm like, all right, that's easy because just pull them out, and then I send them over to Elite, and they pull them out, and there you go.
Yeah, my favorite is Google Drive. We've used a lot because I just work with companies who want to use what they have, and we just figure out how to. What are your guys currently doing? Do you have an app? Are people taking pictures? A lot of people aren't even getting their guys to do that. So kudos to everyone that is getting at least pictures before or after finish. That's so hard for some companies to even do and figure out for their guys and make them do. But depending what app they're uploading it to. Is it going back to the office in a singular text thread, or is it going back to your CRM? And wherever it's going to, can it be synced with Google Drive, or can it be connected to something like Zapier or Pabbly that can uh, trigger, oh, photo was uploaded. Let me create let me add this to the Google Drive with using the customer's name that we have on file in this automation because they filled a form and we have some basics. So here's how I can do it. Oh, in this system, they also gave us the variants of 90, Chrome, Starfire, and all these other variants. Great. Then we'll have the system push over that into the name of that picture. If you're using Google Drive, like there's other ways to use it, but I just put it into the name. I made singular folders for each product. I put the names of it, and I just I looked at the picture and I was like, that is a clear. So I had to guess on our library, because when you have the chaos, you either decide I'm gonna start fresh going forward or go back in our library, and I did both. I figured out where to collect all the finished photos, figured out how to get them into the Google Drive, figured out how to sync that so I didn't have to manually do that after I labeled them all by looking at it and seeing like these are all the elements in this picture, including tile. Because I would send pictures to people and they say, yeah, not like that. It's a 90-degree. You're looking for a 90 with a notch. It's a 90 with a notch. It's the door's on the left. Because when I send it with the door on the right, you say, no, not like that. So I have to send it exactly the way they're picturing it for them to say, yeah, exactly. Including the tile color. Because sometimes it'd be black. Yeah, not like that. My tile's white.
Yeah, it's so true,
For
man.
mine, let me also add white tile to the name of my pictures. Hey, guy I have doing this, can you go back to every single picture and now add the color of tile? Like, it's frustratingly, like, this is not something I'm like, this is fun, but this is what I know needed to be done because going back, it allowed me to solve all the problems faster because I wasn't just coming in with the ideas. I was the one in the office answering the phones, tripling the leads and answering them all, figuring out how to get them back faster, doing the same thing over and over again. This can be done better. Let's automate this. Everyone has different ways. Some are using apps that do it for you in different stages of your process. It handles everything once they're sold. Great. Like, where are the gaps of everything else? Where do the pictures come in? Can you sync it, or can you make it someone's side project an hour a day, after hours, whatever it is? Because I had to fill it in the gaps all the ways I could to get everything into the Google Drive. Why? Because it's super cheap. Some people still wanted to stay with their Apple Cloud because they were sold on that. So there's Apple folders, and their guys all have Apple devices, so they share the folders, name them the way they want to in there. But there's ways to add labels in that system. So depending on the Drive, the Outlook, all the different programs they might be sold into, cool. But if you do Drive, that I just add it to the name, every element, but always start the same. And then once you come up with that system, now you have a process to go assign it to someone else. And now you know, like, hey, these are all the things I need to know from the beginning. How can we get someone to fit it in the beginning of our stuff? So when we push it out, it can say, picture all these data points, name it for me. Because the systems can do it for us. It's always manual first. But once you figure out how you want it done and where the breakoffs are, then you can figure out, I know how I can turn this manual thing into automatic.
Okay. Yeah, we are using Google Drive right now and it's just been manually dumped there. But I mean, the guys aren't dumping it there. They have to either like text it to me, or if it's a lot at once, they're using like a WeTransfer file and dumping a whole
Yeah.
bunch. And then I've got to transfer it over, and I'm just making a folder and dumping it in there. And that's where it sits until the end of time, right? And each file name is like IMG and like a 4-digit number. And you
Yeah.
just can scroll.
going forward, it's hard to figure out what to do going backwards, but going forward, the best thing I did, and then I added a layer of adding the customer's name. If I could, if I had their permission, why? Because when I wanted to start sending them the completed photo, some of our guys were doing it naturally. They just took a picture, sent it to the customer through the CRM because they knew how to. Customer was like, "That's awesome, thank you so much. Can't wait to see when I get home." I'm like, "Oh, wow, we should start doing that." Customer was thrilled at new idea. Don't ignore it. So we started figuring out how to get the completed pictures for those people to send, and then it turned into that person left an awesome review. They added the picture to the review. Google really loves when customers add reviews and images and videos to the reviews, authenticates it like crap a lot more, and gives your customers something to see. Now, when I'm doing my testimonial stuff and all they do is leave a testimonial, most of them aren't going to leave a picture. I had a database that I could tell my assistant, hey, go into that database I have, find everyone that leaves the reviews because they're automatically shot to the sheet and match them up with the picture. And now let's make social content galore from the actual customer's testimonial attached to their actual product and come up with a story of how we help them with their permission. But you don't need them to do all this testimonial forward facing, hey, customer, I need you to do all this, promote me. Just have your process really clean. And if they leave that testimonial and love that picture and finished product, you can now have a great social proof thing that's tied to a human being and great in all the ways. There's so many ways you can amplify it when you have a good foundational system like that. Labeled correctly, whatever you're using. Going forward, easier to do. For 5 more minutes, office person, can you label this picture? I know it's a pain, but it's going to help us in so many ways. Someone's got to do it going forward until you figure out how to automate or systemize it. But I think it's worth it, just like a lot of other things people don't. But
Well, this makes a lot of sense. Like I talked to Keith one night for about an hour, and each layout of shower he's done, he's given it a model number. Like a single door might be an MSD 01. A door and a side panel is an MSD 02. Door, side panel, and 90-degree return might be an MSD 90. So then rather than describing the layout, he gives it a model number in the picture, I assume, would be the other way to do it. To start, because like you said, you've already, in your layout, you've already come up with the 20 most, you know, regular options of showers that you use just to simplify things. If you gave them a model number, just to keep it as generic as possible or simple as possible, rather than describing it, just give it the model number and then just you could search that way too, right?
that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, absolutely. Because it makes it much shorter and easier. You don't get the keywords of someone just finding white tile something, but when you give everything a model number, all they need is a short library. So it works in the
Yeah,
same way, and it's a lot more effective. Because short coding is the best way to do it, and it becomes branded to your own too. So that's another great thing about it.
yeah. All right, you got me thinking here. It's working.
Yep. Yeah. That's a really good idea. It's a really good idea to name your shower enclosures like it give them like a number or even like some kind of fancy name or something. Um, and then refer to them that way to the customer, like, oh yeah, that's whatever the model number is, whatever you call it, you know, um, makes it really easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, the fancy thing is if you actually do push that, then customers might call us asking for a certain thing. Do y'all do this kind of shower, the fire clean shower? No, we just do these. Oh, okay, sorry. Click. What the hell? Oh, someone just called Starfire Fire Clean. I don't know. Like but they said it's ours, custom branded. No one else has it, right? Because no one else named it that. Like this is what we do. So sometimes you can actually take advantage and leverage that if customers actually get bought in that Coke is actually soda. Because a lot of my life I thought Nikes was what you call shoes and Coke is what you call soda. Can you get me a Coke? Yes. What kind? A Sprite. That's how I always answered it for years. Coke really did a good job at branding itself as soda and Nike's as shoes, and people were just synonymous. That word has nothing to do with that, but branding is so good it becomes synonymous with that product.
That's right. Jello.
Yeah.
Yes. So many products that have added themselves to our dictionaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyone got a Kleenex?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a million of them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, it'd be, be great to have the name of your company, be synonymous with shower doors, right? So when somebody mentions like, there's like Arcadia door. I mean, I don't know if that's very common anymore, but when I was a kid, a patio door was called an Arcadia door,
Yep.
and that's a big deal, man. Something like that.
Yeah, we were a
And there's a
dealer.
problem if, oh, what were you saying?
I said we were a dealer for Arcadia back in the 60s and 70s.
No? Good product back then.
The best, it was one of the best sliding doors ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem if our consumers relate shower with Home Depot, which is why the education of like that, there's a difference. When they tell you I can get a $700 over here, they do have not educated themselves on the difference. So good branding and good like promotion does that too. Tells them the difference between Home Depot should not mean shower to you if you want a nice custom thing.
Yeah. Right. Custom frameless shower door. It's like, yeah, you're not going to find that at Home Depot. They may have something, they may have something like in that zone or something, but no. Cool. Anything else before we go? Well, it's 6:30 my time. I'm going to bail.
All right.
Thanks for showing up, you guys.